Coming up on First at 4, Senator Rand Paul continues his tour in eastern Kentucky, this time visiting Paintsville. Plus, a warning from West Virginia's Attorney General about a deadly new synthetic opioid popping up in cities nationwide.
Plus, many of us haven't even made 50 this afternoon, and we have more frost on the way later tonight. The latest on the way as Mountain News First at 4 starts now.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Keaton Hall. Thanks for joining us on First at 4. U.S. Senator Rand Paul paid a visit to Paintsville today. Senator Paul stopped by the East Kentucky Advanced Manufacturing Institute, or ECAMI, to take a tour of the facility and meet the faculty and students. He says Kentucky must have more workforce participation, and ECAMI may solve some of the problem by preparing the workforce of the future.
So about 62% of Americans who can work do work. You know, when they talk about 4% unemployment, we think, oh, well, that's only 4% of the public not working. It's really about 38% of the public that's not working. So some of it's about training and workforce. This will solve some of the problem.
ECAMI student Fernando Ramos added that it was an honor to meet Senator Paul and have him tour the facility. We'll have more from Senator Paul's visit tonight at 6.
And it has been a downright chilly day throughout the mountains. We haven't gotten out from under that cloud cover, and it feels every bit of a chilly late fall day outside. This is the latest look at the freeze warning. We've had it in place for Campbell and Claiborne counties and Lee and Wise counties for much of the day. That's since been expanded to Dickinson and Buchanan County, and now areas, basically one row of counties east of I-75 and then points off to the west, now under the freeze warning from 3 o'clock until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Growing season's ended for everybody else. That's why there's no freeze warning in effect. However, our western counties still now under that freeze warning, just came out until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So a cold chill on the way. It is a kind of dreary looking day outside. Buffalo Mountain overcast as well. Low 40s right now there. We look at satellite and radar and see plenty of cloud cover in place and temperatures that are chilly, especially for this time of year. How about upper 30s right now? Jonesville, Pikeville, Clintwood not made it to 40 yet. Others have made it to just beyond 40. In fact, Harlan is our cold spot at 37. Day planner out there for the rest of the evening. We'll try to break some of that cloud cover up through the evening, only in the mid-40s by 5 o'clock, 40 by 9 o'clock, and back down into the deep freeze as we head into the overnight. Details, though, on when we could start to see a warming trend. That's in a few minutes. Keaton?
Around Thanksgiving time out there. Well, the cold weather is not coming at a good time for eastern Kentucky flood survivors. Many homes damaged by floodwaters are not yet ready for heat or to even be inhabited again. WYMT's Phil Pendleton spoke to people in Knott County.
There are many homes here along Kentucky 550 in Hindman and Knott County that need a lot of work to be made livable again. And now with cold weather moving in, it's yet another challenge to deal with.
We'll do the best, you know, we'll make do, be all right.
Ray Baker and his family went from living in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home to a travel trailer at a campground. With winter coming and cold weather already here, he's not looking forward to electric heat as opposed to the fireplace in his old home. He's among many staying here for now, but not sure what the future holds. But he's got his faith, and that is pushing him along.
Don't get feeling sorry for yourself, because I promise you, if you open your eyes and look, there's somebody a lot worse shape than you are. I talked to a man a couple days ago. There's a lady down in Jackson has got a box that come off a truck, I believe he said, and this poor woman was staying in that.
Local officials tell me that they are not aware of a lot of people living in tents. They say that there is a need, however, for adequate heat. They say they are trying to get space heaters to those that need them. In Knott County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Knott County officials say 14 people who were living in travel trailers are now back in their permanent homes. The Housing Development Alliance is in the process of building homes for the flood survivors of eastern Kentucky. Alongside their usual builds, HDA is building homes for flood survivors in Perry, Knott, and Breathitt counties. The organization is beginning this project with 12 homes. but hope to build many more in the future.
We know this happened to folks who have the least resources. And so they need somebody like HDA to be in the community. We're happy we can be here and serve these folks. That's what we're here to do. And we hope they know that they can reach out to us anytime they need to.
If you or someone you know is in need of a home or home repairs, those with the Housing Development Alliance say you can give .com. We continue to monitor the events happening in Ukraine. Earlier today, a number of Russian rockets hit the city of Kharkiv, damaging and setting an industrial building on fire, says the State Emergency Office's press officer. Officials say one of the warehouses that was hit was used to store food. No one was injured in the strike on the warehouse, which was partially destroyed, local officials say. Russia, which invaded Ukraine back in late February, has denied deliberately targeting civilians, although it has repeatedly struck heavily populated cities across the country. It says it's been targeting military and energy infrastructure. This comes after 5 people were killed in a Russian attack on a residential building in Kiev yesterday. Back here in the States, thick black clouds of smoke blanketed Marietta, Ohio this morning after a plane crashed into a car dealership lot. A fire erupted shortly after contact, but has since been put out. The pilot and passenger in the plane died in the crash. The Ohio State Highway Patrol is investigating the incident. Top lawmakers in Tennessee and Virginia are coming together to combat the ongoing opioid crisis. Both states are set to see one of the largest financial recoveries due to lawsuits and settlements against big pharmaceutical companies. In Tennessee, the money is overseen by Opioid Abatement Trust, while for Virginia, it's the Opioid Abatement Authority.
We want to make sure there's resources for those brave individuals willing to admit they need help.
Counties and localities across both states are set to see a portion of the funding. The West Virginia Attorney General is sounding the alarm about a new synthetic opioid that the DEA says is as deadly as fentanyl. WIMT Washington reporter Molly Martinez has more on what you need to know.
According to the CDC, about 150 Americans die each day from overdosing, and that number is on the rise. 75% of those overdose deaths can be related to synthetic opioids like fentanyl. But now there's a new drug in town that has the potential to exacerbate a decades-long epidemic. It's called nitazene, and like fentanyl, the CDC says these synthetic drugs are often mixed with other opioids to make them cheaper, more potent, and more addictive. It also makes them highly lethal. Last year alone, 108,000 Americans died of overdose. According to the Drug Enforcement Administration, most of these victims don't know they're in for a death sentence when buying these drugs. One of the hardest hit areas is West Virginia. Attorney General Patrick Morrisey came to Washington to plead with the DEA to take action before nitazene takes any more lives.
West Virginia's been so hard hit by opioids and fentanyl in the past. You want to get out in front of it if you can, and that way we can educate our law enforcement in West Virginia as to what to look for. So that's what worries me about it. I don't want to be waiting at the back end as the body bags pile up.
Morrisey is urging the DEA to take swift action, going so far as asking that they categorize fentanyl and other synthetic opioids as weapons of mass destruction. Now, what is nitazene? According to the DEA, it comes in powder form, is usually off-white or yellowish in color, and can also come in pills that are falsely marketed as oxycodone. In Washington, I'm Molly Martinez.
Coming up on First at 4, we'll have the latest on an Iranian athlete gone missing after defying her government, as all of this comes at a time of unrest for the country.
Plus a cold one on the way later tonight. The latest on when we can see some warmer temperatures move back in too, coming up.